I'm gonna do something that hasn't been done in decades.
It takes patience.
Your call has been...
Learn a new skill without using the internet at all.
Careful with the cloth.
The internet is super helpful.
Either tuck in or hope you don't get your stomach ripped out.
But we might be missing out on something even better. Surfing has existed for quite a while now. But hundreds of years before it was a sport or an industry, it was a piece of identity for the Hawaiian people. And shaping a board was an event that required ceremonies and intentionality. Flash forward to today, surfing is a billion-dollar industry with an estimated 400,000 boards being made every year. Somewhere between the days of using wood as a medium for surfboards and CNC machines, there was a sweet spot in shaping's barrier to entry. Foam was introduced in the 50s and 60s, which was a much cheaper and easier material to use, which meant that teenagers shaping in their backyards became a lot more common. So the materials became more accessible, but the knowledge of what to do with them still had to come from people. You had a beautiful mix of accessibility and human connection. So that is my goal, to learn how to shape a surfboard without using the internet, just like they would have in the 50s and 60s. Now, I have zero experience shaping, and I've only been surfing consistently for about a year. So why did I choose shaping, of all things, to learn without using the internet? Well, I truly know nothing about it, so everything I learn will come from whoever decides to share some knowledge with me. I also grew up skateboarding in Middle Tennessee, where surfing was a fascinating but foreign parallel to what I did every day. And I know what you're thinking, wow, you must have an intricate plan. Well, I didn't need one. About 3 weeks ago, I was walking to my car from work. A man yells at me, "Hey, genius." I turn around, I'm like, "You talking to me?" He goes, "Oh, I'm so sorry, I thought you were someone else." Nevertheless, I struck up a conversation with him, and turns out he was a shaper. He was an older guy, so he didn't shape much anymore, but I told him what I was trying to do, and he said he had a blank that he would sell to me for pretty cheap. I went into his shop and checked it out. I really had no idea what I was looking at, so all I really said was, "Very cool," and "Nice."
Very cool. Nice.
He then shared some trade secrets.
Your stringer line, that's actually a template. When you're hand shaping, you want it to be continuous. You don't want any dips or flat spots.
And I was on my way with a blank. For those who don't know what a blank is, it's basically a rough outline of a surfboard that you cut down and customize into pretty much anything. This one specifically is a 710, which is a mid-length. I originally wanted to shape a longboard, but I can't be too picky when I can't order whatever I want or pick one up off Facebook Marketplace. Just gotta say yes and get creative. So I have a blank. Now what?
Plan A. Sponge. Absorb as much knowledge through books and media as I possibly can. First step in this plan is to head to the library.
Oh my gosh.
Hi.
Really just any about surfboards or shaping, doing like a little self-challenge thing.
Thank you all for your patience with my grandmother. Hi, Jane.
I got both the books that had anything to do with surfing, then brought them home to see what I could learn. It was cool to see all the old boards, local shapers, and people that made surfing what it is now. But there wasn't really much on shaping in this one. However, when I opened the next book, I was met with all the basic info. Tools, supplies, technique. But all in all, it was only about 1.5 pages on shaping, so might need a little more to go off of.
In the 1960s, local theaters and backyards were home to tons of surf film premieres. I don't think any of them really featured shaping, but there is one modern-day surf film I think I can learn a lot from.
Here are your shaping tools. Now, remember, the board's already inside there. It takes patience and finesse.
All right already, I'm trying. Can you just give me the tools, please?
Plan B. Phone a friend. I have an old friend who I lived with in Nashville who moved to Hawaii a few years ago and started shaping. I haven't talked to him in 6 years. Let's go cold call him.
Your call has been...
He didn't pick up, but that's fine. He eventually did text me back and we got to reconnect, and he sent me some of the boards that he shaped over the past few years, and they definitely have me very inspired. Plan C. Find a mentor. At this point, it was pretty apparent that I needed some more hands-on help, so I started to just tell every single person I encountered what I was doing. One of those people was my friend Jessie, who informed me that
He had a friend named Cole. Cole was a shaper and also happened to be a super cool guy. Cole also said that he would be willing to teach both me and Jessie how to shape. In a bit of disbelief, I loaded up the blank and the board I decided I wanted to replicate. More on that later. My friend Zane gave it to me a few years ago, but sadly it's slowly falling apart. Got to Cole's shop and looking around, it was pretty clear I'd come to the right place.
It's kind of what I'm like thinking.
I bet you I have like this tail curve right here.
Do you know anything about this?
That's what I was reading.
Aleutian juice.
Aleutian juice.
Yeah,
I've never heard of it.
I've done a ton of research on this guy. His name is Dave Parmenter.
This is a Parmenter? No, it's not. It literally is. This is his brand?
It's like this mystic thing.
What? Big board, single fin, legend. Underground legend.
Literally,
like,
yeah. Okay.
so crazy. It's all like, oh yeah, I heard him, he did this, or oh yeah, he did this. That's insane. I've never seen one of his boards in person because they don't exist.
If you made it this far, go comment, where is Dave? We gotta find him.
It's V double the whole way. This is high.
Okay.
And that's your V.
Right, okay.
And then it transitions into like double barrel. High V, which helps in rolling side to side.
Yeah.
And then the double starts super early, which is super sick. It's fully doubled.
What's like the benefit?
That's like a V bottom. This is a traditional V bottom from 1967, 68. And this is kind of what me and my brother got obsessed with when Bob McTavish made it, who's right there.
Oh man.
The whole goal of V-bottom surfing is you get on one panel. Your board goes from 22 inches wide to whatever that distance is.
Yeah.
But the problem with that is when you come down, it wants to just track out. Like when you're coming back up the face, to come back down, your heel has to be almost off the rail.
Okay. Yeah,
so the goal with the double is you allow the wave face to like project you back. So when you're coming up, that double is then gonna push you back down. And it lowers the rocker, so you go faster. On just a traditional V-bottom, it's gonna wanna wash out.
Oh, okay.
So that's gonna come in, hit that double, and then shoot back instead of just shooting out.
Yeah.
This thing actually has all, like, every dimension on it. 17, 21, 5, 15. All right, so first step would probably just be like knock the stringer down. You can use the planer if you want, but it's easier just to knock it down.
Just to level it out.
Yeah, that's how you gotta learn. Are we gonna stay 17 wide nose, or do you wanna bring that in a bit?
It's a little wide. What's the benefit of having a thinner nose?
A narrower nose will let you just be a little more surfy.
All right, let's do half inch then.
Okay, yeah. So that's then just math. 8 and 8 is 16, 17. So 8 and a quarter. I always double measure, so I didn't graduate high school. That's a lie. I actually did, but not legally. Yeah, that's perfect. Yep.
This is where
That's
most,
where you want your wide point. Come on. Take the fin out for there. And a little diamond too, so we can add the diamond in.
I mean, we used these templates that Cole conveniently already had to trace the outline we wanted to cut out.
Tell us how you're feeling, dude.
Dude, I'm feeling super good. I'm just ready to serve it.
Sometimes a little WD-40 on it will help it.
Really?
Yeah. So for this, it's one of the most important steps to cut the board out. If the saw is going through crooked, it'll make your board that much narrower. So it has to be like square. So I'd cut off the nose and tail. Yeah, just get that out of there. Like I said, good and dull. That's my saw. I should probably get a new one, but I like it.
Jessie then cheated somehow and did it twice as fast and was pretty embarrassed at this point while he practically cut his side out with his eyes closed. Then Cole fixed a few of our mistakes. We got the edges straightened up and we were moving on.
So a foil of a board, you're just watching the thinness to thickness to thin. I would scoop out the nose a little more, bring the tail down a little more just to create more flow to it. This would be easiest to just cut the bottom. And I can show you how to do it really quick. In shirts, Jerry Lopez got his shirt caught in a planer and cut himself. Very careful with shirts, either tuck in or hope you don't get your stomach ripped out. I'm gonna butt it up. Nice, perfect. Got a lot to go. And the deck is usually the important part where you don't want to take too much off because that gets softer.
Right, okay.
So you want to take off all the meat on the bottom
Yeah.
because you're not going to be standing on the bottom because it'll get soft.
You try it?
Oh,
Jessie grabbed the planer and started taking some foam out of the top, just trying to match the foil or the side profile of the board. Cole taught us a good technique on running thin passes with the planer to get the tail and nose specifically thinned out.
That looks good. Yeah, that looks really nice. That's pretty good.
I used the same method to even out the rest of the deck, and then Jessie cleaned it up. Kinda like the saw situation.
Everyone's obsessed with the volume thing and like, oh, I ride 30, whatever the literage is.
Yeah.
That, for hand shaping, is almost done through the deck. We took a lot of foam out of here.
Yeah.
We could have left that there and then took it all out of the bottom, but you would have been creating crazy tail rocker. I would stop there and then go less, and then stop there, go less, go less. Yep.
We followed a similar technique on the bottom, only this time taking a bit more foam out, trying to match the rocker of the previous board, which is basically the approach angle of the board to the water.
Really good. Yeah.
Yeah, that felt better. I'm like I'm moving it as I'm going up.
Nice. Yeah, no, that, I was gonna say something, but I was like, no, you're already blending it. That's perfect. Okay. You got another ½ inch to go.
Imagine if the bottom of the board was flat and the back of the board gets lifted up by the wave, the nose is sinking straight into the water. So you're basically creating a shape where the nose is constantly being lifted up out of the water.
It's the V right there, pretty V'd, and then it goes into like a single, which is then the stringer's low and the rails are high. It still has that V in it. You take down the stringer, you set that lower, leaving this higher. That creates your concave. But within the concave has concave. Concave creates more speed and like that floaty feel. But that double is what helps you go rail to rail. V entry, which is my favorite, single with double, straight into double.
We got to work dialing in the bottom and adding in the concave, trying to replicate what Dave was going for when he shaped the original board.
Very slight. So this is the thickness of your board, right? This is where you want your apex to be. That's your outline. Your first cut is gonna be there. Your next cut will be there. That'll just slowly create that outline. This will be gone too. And so you're basically just making a round out of a square by taking facets out to curve it.
Then picked up the planer and did the part I was most afraid of.
Yeah, a little more angle, but perfect. Cool. Yeah, right there.
And this thing is heavy.
Yeah.
This thing is so heavy.
Yeah. It's already a rail, so now we're just blending it all in. Yeah, I would start to like angle it a little bit more. Okay. You're coming a little flat. which is okay. It's just gonna be more sanding for Jessie.
Is there a mark over here?
Oh. Now there is. Get this be smooth to that. If we round the nose, then fine sand and screen and you're done. Dude, I make things though. Gotta get you a set. Like fall. It's pretty sick.
Oh my gosh, I'm so stoked.
Happy?
So sick.
Good.
Dude, thank you so much.
Of course, dude.
Oh my gosh.
No worries.
Dude.
Surfboard.
So sick. Let's go.
Nice job.
Thanks, dude. Come on.
Well, I did what I set out to do. I learned a new skill without using the internet. And the next step would usually be to send off the board to get glassed, but that's too easy. And while a normal person's generosity would run out after 12 hours of teaching somebody a brand new skill, Cole agreed to double down and show me how to glass. Which all in all, this sounds like a deal that's too good to be true, so who is Cole?
My name is Cole Gonia. I've been building surfboards for 10 years now. I built my first board in my grandpa's barn in the middle of winter in Ohio and thought it was the greatest thing I've ever done in my entire life. Building surfboards was never an option for me. I was never gonna do that for a living. I just didn't want to have that pressure of like, you gotta keep building surfboards because it was so ceremonial for us to build one. The whole house had to like morph around me building a surfboard for 4 days. Most of my boards were I would research for months at a time, one specific time period or one specific design, and get so invested in that one thing and then try to build that one board. So that's been pretty tricky now that I'm doing it full time to like consistently have to show up and keep building. But truthfully, it's riding waves. And if I can help somebody and make them have that same experience of riding a wave, it's like so good. Do you want to sign it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Here, do you want to practice on a piece of
Yeah. Like right through the. We're gonna need to do this 50 times. Like, dude, I'm gonna spell my name with like a P or something.
Kindergarten's never been so fun.
It's not perfect.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just so we can save tape. I think we can get away with a 6 bottom, 6-4 deck, easy.
What does that mean?
This is 6 ounce.
Okay.
It's thicker.
Yeah.
This is 4 ounce. It's thinner. So that
Strengthens your deck.
your deck would be stronger.
Okay.
My high-tech glassing floor. I think we're due for a new piece of cardboard. That'll make more. So yeah, so that's nice. Middle.
Okay.
And if you thought shaping was a lot of feel, glassing, there's a science, but it's all feel at this point. Do you want to do color?
Yeah.
It's gonna react very quick. You almost just want to like let it drip.
Okay.
You think you know what it's gonna look like, and then you get it on the board and you're like, wait, that's not the color I want. Wow, that's so different. Gnarly. Acetone will take it off. Some people are like not into rubbing acetone on their body. I take baths in it, so. Rather stay lighter and work into it.
Yeah, yeah.
So boom, boom, kind of just flowing it here and here. finish this, done, forget about it. With your leftover, you pour a little bit on the rail, squeegee, and then you come in and you tuck it. And we kind of got to move a little bit.
After Cole said to move, I made sure to go as slow as I possibly could. Before you pour the resin, you add some catalyst, which basically causes a chemical reaction, and the resin immediately starts to harden.
Just basically
I'm just pouring it off.
Yep. Careful with the cloth. You don't want to touch the cloth.
I'm not gonna serve all that house.
We might need to speed up a little, sorry. Usually have about 10 minutes. You can go start tucking that side.
Cole let the resin harden a bit while I let some resin harden on my face because I touch my face with resin. Basically, what happens is it burns at about the temperature of the sun.
Put me out of my misery.
It took me a really long time to get it clean and just right.
Yeah.
Nice job.
Sweet.
First zip cut. There it is.
We set the board in the sun for a few minutes to harden the resin a bit, getting ready to repeat this process for the deck.
We don't need any overlap.
Tell.
Flow. Yeah, that's plenty now. Getting everything wet right now. Make sure the cloth doesn't move by
So what, for you, why even help someone? You're like 20 hours in to this board that is a net zero.
This is going to be a thing that you're excited about every time you go and do it. Not many people have helped me along the way. I mean, Donnie's been insane and helped me a lot, and Fly, same thing. It's not hard to be a good person,
Yeah.
you know? And it's just like, let's not think too hard and help people out. I think it goes with how the whole board building thing is snowballed. They want to keep it sacred and they want to keep it core in a tight-knit community, but it's like, that's long gone.
It's ironic because that's the niche core group, is
100%.
the people who are stoked to learn how to do it. And if you're gonna like stiff arm those people, then the thing that you hold so dearly,
You're killing it yourself.
It's gonna die.
But like, there is a younger group of guys like me who are willing to put everything they have into learning the traditional art of building surfboards.
There was so much in this process I never would have thought about when I started. I think when all was said and done, Cole had spent around 40 hours with me giving instruction on every single step of the process. And because of that, I went from knowing nothing about building boards to probably being able to build one in my backyard. And if I had tried to learn by only using the internet, there would probably be another half-finished project in my yard. After we finished cleaning it up, I added some last-minute notes, one of which was a quote that stared at me every time I used the bathroom at the shop. After that crucial addition, I brought it home and threw on some wax. After I finished, it was finally time to put it in the water. I got a few fun waves on it, and then I pass it off to Cole.
Leaving the board.
It was good. No, it was insane. Best first hand-shaped surfboard I've ever ridden.
How does this board compare to like other first-time boards?
It actually worked. It went down the line.
Well, thank you so much for helping me shape this thing and get it in the water and get this thing
Finally.
I'm like
Just-
so stoked.
You did pretty good board.
If anyone knows Dave Parman, please let me know. I would love to just talk to him.
Show him the board. You'd be like, this sucks. What is this?
Before the internet, if you didn't know something, you had to just ask someone who did. And it takes a bit of bravery and humility to ask for help, so I get that it just seems easier to ask a robot, but you might be missing out on quite a bit. Thanks for watching, and I don't know very much about anything, so I'll probably be learning how to do more skills without using the internet and having no experience. If you have any suggestions or you know a super niche skill and you want to teach me, let me know. Bye.